Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see, I've got the tie on, we've got the top hollow music going on in the background, and you all know what that means. It is time for some more Pokemon Sleep news. Well, this one actually comes to us in the form of news. Now, I'm a bit late to the mark on this one compared to my normal schedule. I was a bit busy last night when this news went live. I was at a concert for one of, my actual favorite band of all time, so, I was a bit late to make this news for y'all, but this news is coming out, and I'm actually kind of glad it got delayed, because we have a lot more information now than if I had made a video last night. So let's get into what exactly this is, and what is going on. And so this is kind of crazy stuff, some stuff that I'm personally not too huge of a fan of if you've seen the channel for a while, but I don't think it's as bad as what I would have said if it had been implemented a different way. I think they implemented it in the most conservative way they could still give the people what they wanted. So, let's just get about that. So, July 20th is Pokemon Sleep, the day it was released globally. So, to celebrate, they gave us a new limited time feature, Festive Flowers. Now, this feels like something they could do. This is probably why they avoided Flower Festival and changed it to Spring Fest, because they probably didn't want that event going forward to be known as Flower Festival, because otherwise people would probably associate it with this feature, but I don't think that event is supposed to be boosted by this sort of thing, because these are some very powerful things that we're getting into. So, what do? They have one-time boosts that basically you take a seed, you get 5 seeds at the start of the week, and you get to choose which one you plant each night. So eventually you'll have all 5 flowers grown, and when you plant a white seed, you get a Neutralizing Mint. Neutralizing Mint is a new thing that they're adding to the game that sets your Pokemon's nature to a neutral. It removes the effects a Pokemon's nature has on its helping stats, so it makes it neutral. It'll be interesting to see if it actually changes the Pokemon's nature to be a neutral nature, or if it just still has the same nature, leaving it with its personality, but just says it just doesn't do anything, almost just crosses it off. It'll be interesting to see how that works. But anyway, and also Neroli's giving us a present one as well, and this has been confirmed. Huge thank you to Michael Grog, who posted in our Discord some images from their earlier time zone. But this is what the Neutralizing Mint looks like. Neroli gives one as a gift. You get one. Additionally, here's a in-game what the tutorial looks like for it. So you get to plant one every night, and they bloom either when you track sleep or when the following day. And you will get different effects depending on the flowers that bloom, and the effects last until the event ends. If you forget to plant one, then it'll choose a random one and plant it for you. Preferably don't do this. It's best if you can choose, because you do want to select them in the right order. So, what do they do? So, notably, you plant one, then you have it for, the next day. You have it for more of the week if you plant it earlier. So ideally, you plant the ones that have boosts first, which notably, the white seed just gives you a Neutralizing Mint. This one can easily be saved for last. Neutralizing Mints are cool by a lot of players' standards. It's a very powerful effect. You should plant this sometime throughout the event. Don't let it go to waste. But it shouldn't be your first priority, because this is more of you get an item for it. These are boosts that can last for the whole event. So what are all the boosts? One Pokemon is for sure hungry. Very potent effect. Very fitting for yellow. I guess. Blue, Sleep XP times 3. Purple, Dream Shards game times 2.5. That is a lot of Dream Shards. And then Candy's gain times 2.5. Now, if I had to select which one's the best order for them, it's going to vary from account to account based off what you're doing. If you have already caught the ones you want to catch, the Pokemon you want to catch, the yellow seed isn't going to be as important. If you want to collect more candies, the red seed's going to be more important earlier in the week. But if you need Dream Shards, because you're at a Dream Shard deficit, the purple seed's going to be more important. But realistically, after 4 days, you should have all of them but the white seed planted, and then the white seed should come in last. If you're trying to raise the Pokemon that you're running, and not the ones that are encountered at the island, then this one's going to be the most beneficial. So all of them are very powerful effects that you get to choose when they're active throughout the week. Personally, if I had to choose it, I'd probably say the red and the purple should probably be a little bit later. because earlier in the week you're going to have lower Snorlax strength. So lower Snorlax strength means less candy gained from your sleep research to begin with. So that boost is more impactful later in the week. Meanwhile, the blue seed, the sleep XP times 3, that's a flat amount. It just boosts it flat. No, it doesn't depend upon how much Snorlax strength you have. For sure, hungry. That's almost more valuable earlier in the week because most likely later in the week, yellow, the extra hungry Pokemon is probably is more likely to go to an evolved Pokemon, which while you can get more value out of your biscuits that way, realistically it's not evolved Pokemon you want to be catching. There are costs to catching a fully evolved Pokemon. So ideally I'd say Yellow Seed is probably one that for most players is going to be the best play right away. Maybe the Blue Seed if you're trying to raise the Pokemon you're running with right now better or more. Also, Sleep XP times 3. That is a lot. That is very significant. While you have the Blue Seed active, strongly consider Is it Focus Incense? Or whatever the one that boosts Pokemon's XP. It's not Focus. I think it's just called like XP Boost. Whatever that incense is called. The times 3 is usually the biggest modifier that we get to Sleep XP. So strongly consider that type of incense. While you have the Purple Seed active, strongly consider a Luck Incense, because that's a huge modifier. That's like the same amount as Christmas, I think. I think Christmas hit like times 3 at one point. But it's rare that we get a modifier to Dream Shards this big. So these are very significant boosts. And then the Neutralizing Mint. Now, like I said, the White Seed should be planted last, but it is arguably the most potent one. Now, I've been outspoken on this matter before. Even though most of the community has wanted mints for the longest amount of time, I don't think they're a great idea for this game. I think that it just naturally, if mints are readily available, then it just makes it so that the rarity of things, like great catches, decreases. But this is a neutralizing mint, and I think that they recognize that. And I really think that the reasoning why it works somewhat is because of two reasons. One, they are very, very limited. We're getting only 2 of them from this event, and they're not putting it in any sort of shop or anything. It seems like we're going to only get them from events going forward, and it's going to be rare. If I had to guess, Neroli's only giving us a free one this time around because it is a tutorial showing us, here's what it does, so that you know for the future. I'm guessing in future events we're only going to get one, and it'll be from the seed. And we don't even know how often this these festival flowers will be a thing. So, we might only get like one every 6 months, potentially. It's going to be a very, very limited item. And then 2, it can only really do 2 different things. It can take a bad Pokemon that is killed by the nature and potentially make it good. Because we oftentimes say that good Pokemon can have neutral natures because the sub-skills can kind of carry. But really, the great Pokemon are the ones that have the natures that line up, for the most part. Berry Specialists are a bit unique, but at least with ingredients and skills. The great Pokemon are the ones that have a nature that are complementary to their specialty. Berry Finders, you just need Berry Finding S helping bonus. But that's the second point, is if a Berry Finding S helping bonus Pokemon has a Speed of Help down nature, using the mint on them will take an already great Pokemon, because Berry Finding S helping bonus is so powerful that you would probably run that Pokemon anyway. It'll take a great Pokemon and just make it extra good, which ultimately those effects aren't really game-breaking to the rarity in this game. So I guess I'm somewhat content with the way that they're implementing it, as long as they keep it relatively limited. Because if we only get one every 6 months, or even one every 3 months is limited enough that I think it won't drastically shift our perspective. Because the problem is, if they're readily available, the natures start to not matter. Bad natures start to not matter then. I already see it where, as a premium pass player, I don't consider Help Speed S to be Help Speed S unless it's locked by Help Speed M, because I get so many sub-skill seeds that if I'm going to invest something, I will use the sub-skill seed. It's affordable to me. If they make neutralizing mints readily available, then that will be the consideration in every player's mind going forward. So now the new worst Pokemon are going to be the ones with the neutral natures. Neutral natures will become bad comparatively if they make neutralizing mints too common of an option. So realistically, these neutralizing mints should only be used to take something that is bad and can become good for a role that you very specifically need on your team, or to make one of your already great Pokemon that you intend to run a lot, to take them from great because they already had amazing sub-skills and they were carried by the sub-skills in spite of their nature, and then to counteract that nature down to neutral. But realistically, this is not going to take any good Pokemon to great. It's not going to take any bad Pokemon to great because they're just neutralizing. And the only thing that I can see is if they make these too common, then it may be harmful to the game's longevity, in my opinion. And I know it's an unpopular opinion in the community, but that's kind of what's going on for this whole festive flowers thing. They're really complicated. They're much more complicated than they really need to be, but when you actually like dive into how it works, it's kind of simple. You pick one each night, and then you have that effect for the rest of the week. So then it's really just a question of which effect do you want sooner in the week and which effect do you want later in the week. Like I said, these two definitely are better for sooner in the week. These two are definitely better later in the week, and this one is just, it should be your last seed planted. The only reason why you might plant the white mint first is if you already have 2 Pokemon in your box that you want to run this week, specifically, because you're going to get this before the end of the week. So unless you're planning on running 2 Pokemon that both need a mint this week, that is the only circumstance where you might want to plant the white mint first. And if you're playing the game a lot, you probably have other options that you can just use instead and be patient and take a little bit hit so that you can get one of these other really powerful bonuses in the meantime. But anyway, that's about all there really is to be said about this festive flower feature and neutralizing mints. If you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Down in the description, I'll have a link to join the Discord. You can come join us, hang out, talk about all things Pokemon Sleep and the like. Huge thank you to all my channel members. It really means a lot to me that you guys want to show your support financially, despite there being no paid rewards for members. If you too want to show your support in that way and are financially capable of doing so, the join button is available down below. And as always, I thank you all for watching and hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.